Okay. They want to start.
The monitor.
Now?
Shiva. एक मंत्र जपते रहो साई राम नाम। एक मंत्र जपते रहो साई राम नाम। अल्लाह यीशु बुद्ध नानक सब ही साई राम। 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 एक मंत्र जपते रहो साई राम नाम। सौराष्ट्र महावीर 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 साई राम नाम। माता पिता बंधु सखा सब ही साई राम। 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 साई राम नाम जपो साई राम नाम। 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 एक मंत्र जपते रहो साई राम नाम। एक मंत्र जपते रहो साई राम नाम। अल्लाह यीशु बुद्ध नानक सब ही साई राम। अल्लाह यीशु बुद्ध नानक सब ही साई राम। एक मंत्र जपते रहो साई राम नाम। एक मंत्र जपते रहो साई राम नाम। सौराष्ट्र महावीर साई राम नाम। सौराष्ट्र महावीर साई राम नाम। माता पिता बंधु सखा सब ही साई राम। माता पिता बंधु सखा सब ही साई राम। साई राम नाम जपो साई राम नाम। 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 जपते रहो साई राम
हे राम नारायण। हे राम नारायण। हे राम नारायण। हे राम नारायण। हरे कृष्णा जनार्दना। हरे कृष्णा जनार्दना। हरे कृष्णा जनार्दना। हरे कृष्णा जनार्दना। हे राम नारायण। हे राम नारायण। नित्यानंद ब्रह्मानंद। नित्यानंद ब्रह्मानंद। नित्यानंद ब्रह्मानंद। नित्यानंद ब्रह्मानंद। कृष्ण मधुसूदना। मधुसूदना। कृष्ण मधुसूदना। कृष्ण मधुसूदना। हरे कृष्ण जनार्दना। हरे कृष्ण जनार्दना। हरे कृष्ण जनार्दना। शयना कलि अवतारा शयना कलि अवतारा पन्नग शयना कलि अवतारा पन्नग शयना कलि अवतारा नारायण हरि Nanda
of reverence, love, and gratitude, I humbly offer today's program to our beloved Swami. Respected elders, our guest speaker, Dr. Valuvan Jivanandam, Sai brothers and sisters, young adults and children, Sairam. On behalf of the planning team and the ones who have prepared this beautiful place for us, I welcome you to this wonderful birthday celebration. Today we are here to honor Swami and remember Swami. So it is apt that we listen to his messages. And over the years he gave many, many discourses. And some he gave on birthdays as well. On the topic of celebrating birthdays, Swami said he was not interested in celebrating birthdays for himself. It was not important to him, but he knew that his devotees wanted to. So out of his love for his devotees, he allowed us to celebrate. And he went on to say, Swami needs nothing. Swami belongs to you. You belong to him. He is not separate from you, nor are you separate from him. That is the relationship he sought from us. But he knows that we kept him a little far. And sometimes we wanted to give him gifts. And even to that, he had something to say. He said, you must be thinking about the gift you have to offer Swami on this birthday. You can be happy that you have given Swami a proper gift only when you love your fellow men, share their sufferings, and engage yourself in serving them. That is the only gift I wish for. And today's theme is living his message, love and service. So it's a very apt way. Swami always taught many things. He, on another birthday, he said, you celebrate the birthday of Bhagwan, but do you follow his teachings? You will experience the fruits of celebrating the birthday only when you follow his teachings. And Swami chose to teach us every step of the way, formally, informally, always seeking for our transformation. That's all he wanted from us. And I'm sure we're all striving and doing our best to follow his teachings. But on this day, Swami is everywhere. He has also told us that. Swami is inside you. And maybe on this day, let's take a pause, a purposeful pause, for just a couple of minutes and center ourselves in this room and hear Swami's message for each one of us. Each one of us is unique, a spark of divinity, as he says. And he knows our past, present, and future. So today, perhaps we can just spend a couple of moments in silence just to see what his message is for us individually and collectively. So I invite you to close your eyes just for a couple of minutes and go within. Sairam. So if you didn't get any special messages, I'm sure he'll be sending it your way throughout the day. So please be mindful and be receptive, and I'm sure he will have a unique thing to tell you. The birthday team has planned a wonderful program, and they wanted me also to mention to you that the afternoon program is also just as wonderful. So please stay for that. It's the multi-faith celebrations, where we have invited speakers from the outside. And actually through the planning process, the birthday team got special treats from Swami, his signs of grace, his signs of encouragement of doing such a program. So I hope you all stay and support it. So with that, I invite Prashanti, our MC for today, to come and take over the rest of the announcements. Thank you. Sairam.
Om Sri Sairam. Thank you, Sister Prema, for that welcome address. Respected elders, distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, and dear children, welcome to all of us to this beautiful day. Isn't it a great gift and such a blessing that we are able to come together like this to celebrate our beautiful Bhagavan, our beloved Swami, the avatar of the ages. We are here to celebrate the 91st year of the avatar of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. We have a most wonderful programming for the entire day ahead of us, and it has elements of music, of storytelling, of experience sharing, and other narrative, all based on the theme. Before I get into the details of the program, I must make some housekeeping announcements and get them out of the way. Parking. So there is parking in the temple premises, but should that be full, we have an overflow parking lot in the NetApp office. There are volunteers outside in the parking area, and also there is a shuttle service for us to bring you back to the venue. So should you have any questions, or if you're unsure of where you have parked, please approach the front desk and they will guide you. We have doctors on board today, so should you need any information and medical assistance, please approach the front desk again and they will assist you. The restrooms are right outside this hall as you exit to your right. There is a request made for the sisters' side that if you were to get up and move, please be mindful of not blocking the projector and coming between the projector and the screen. Thank you. As always, let us put away our electronic distractions so that we may enjoy the program, or at least put them on a vibrate mode so that those next to us are not disturbed. Coming to the SSC Children's Program, during the morning speaker session, we have, for groups 1 and 2, there are activities that have been organized, and they are in the meditation hall, which is right out through these doors in the building next door. The children from groups 3 and 4 are requested to stay here and join the program in the main hall. So the program for the day looks like this. In the morning, we have a young adult program on human values. This will be followed by a wonderful talk by our special guest of honor, Dr. Val Jeevanandam. After which we will have a cake cutting ceremony before we disperse for lunch. In the afternoon, we have a multi-faith program. This is a very unique program where we have special guests who will be joining us from various faiths, and there will be a narrative, they address us, and also there is music. So please stay on for the afternoon program. In the afternoon, for the SSC, all groups have some activities planned, and they will be again in the same area in the building next door. So our region has a tradition of picking a theme every year. Does anyone remember the theme from last year? Yes? Great. So it was love is the source, love is the path, and love is the goal. This year, we have a different theme. We've already heard it. Does anyone remember? Yes? Living his message. That is our theme for this year. What does it mean to be living his message? What is Swami's message? Yes, he has given us several messages. Love all, serve all. I hear help ever, hurt never. There's a lot. I mean, if we go back and listen to all the discourses Swami gave, I think when Dr. Sudhir Bhaskar visited us last year, he told us there's countless hours that you need maybe several lifetimes if you were just to listen to all of the Swami's discourses and read the literature written by him. His message, many times, for several years, Swami said, "My life is my message." He used to sing this beautiful song, "Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food, my life is my message, and expansion is my life." He gave us the message of expansion of our consciousness, of expanding beyond ourselves, of expanding our mind, our hearts, and our beings. That was the beautiful message that Swami gave us through this song. For once we expand beyond ourselves, and we begin to identify ourselves and others, is when all the differences dissolve and all the apparent problems that seem to appear in front of us are solved. It is that message of oneness. As years passed on, Swami made yet another statement. It was in early 2000 that Swami said, "Your life is my message." I remember I was in grad school then, and we had weekly YA meetings. So soon after this discourse came out, we all huddled together and said, "What does this mean? What is Swami saying?" So far, Swami has been talking about his life being his message, and that seems somewhat easier. He was leading by example, and we had to just follow. I shouldn't use the word just, but we had to follow. But now things seem to be getting more serious. He seemed to be getting more serious with us. He said, "Your life is my message," which meant we had to live his message. Our life had to reflect his message. What is this message? His message of oneness of humanity. His message of unity, which is unity in thought, word, and deed. His message of love, that of unconditional love. His message of service, one of selfless service. His message of humanness, of being human. Swami says, having been born as a human being, we must actually be human. What makes us human? It is the human values that Swami talks about. Human values are what make us human. Swami has said the human values are all facets of the foundational humanness. They grow together, they are interdependent, and they're inseparable. Swami has said if we follow one human value, the rest four will follow. We just need to consciously practice one human value and the rest will follow. We have amongst us today in the gathering several students of the Sathya Sai education, several gurus and parents, all of who are on the conscious path of the education and human values program that Swami laid out for us. What does Swami say about the education and human values? The real meaning of education and human values is human values put into practice. What are these human values? People simply utter the names of human values: Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. This comes only from the lips, but true human values come from birth. Satya or truth is that which must be said. Dharma or righteousness is that which has to be practiced. Shanti or peace is that which has to be experienced. Ahimsa is staying away from non-violence. And prema or love is our true nature. The young adults of our region have put together a beautiful narrative and medley of songs. This is the program they've worked on very hard for several weeks now. So let us all welcome them to present their program now. Thank you.
At this time of our devotion, let there be no barrier. Bless us with your loving grace, O Lord with the elephant face. May our hearts be filled with joy, singing out in love for Sai. Bless us, Sai Ganesha. Bless us, Sai Ganesha.
Om Sri Sairam, our most beloved Bhagavan, we offer our humble pranams at your divine lotus feet. Dearest Swami, how fortunate are we to have you, the Lord of the universe, as our spiritual teacher. You have been guiding us through every step of our lives, time and again, reminding us that the true purpose of life is to experience oneness with God. Loving others expands our love beyond ourselves to the realization that the divinity in others is not different from the divinity within. Service is the expression of this love divine, which no longer sees another as less than oneself. While the external facet of love is service, it shines within as virtues and human values. These values, like the colors of a rainbow, may be many, but merge to shine the one light, permeating everywhere, unleashing the full range of human potential. These fundamental values, ingrained into us, are in fact the proof of divinity within. We humbly present this musical offering based on the 5 human values.
In an ancient Hindu temple, a number of pigeons were living for quite some time on top of the Gopuram, the monumental tower at the entrance of the temple. This wasn't an uncommon occurrence, as pigeons generally prefer elevated or high structures. But soon, the pigeons were forced to relocate as the temple was getting a renovation. The pigeons found a church nearby and decided to settle down there. This church already had some pigeons, and so the newcomers managed to find places wherever possible. After a few months, Christmas approached and the church management decided to paint the church. All the pigeons, including the ones from the church, had to relocate again and look for another place. To their joy, they discovered that the nearby mosque had sufficient space for all of them. They settled there to live along with the existing pigeons in the mosque. As luck would have it, not long after that, the mosque management also decided to carry out some repair. By this time, however, the temple renovations were over, and so the pigeons returned to the same temple which they had been forced to leave earlier. One day, when the pigeons were sitting on top and relaxing, they were watching some communal clashes going on below and not far away from the temple. One baby pigeon asked its mother, "Who are these people?" The mother replied, "They are human beings." The baby then asked, "But why are they fighting with each other?" The mother said, "The human beings praying in the temple are called Hindus. Those praying in the church are called Christians, and those praying in the mosque are called Muslims." The little pigeon was quite puzzled and further queried, "Why is it so, mother? When we were in the temple, we were called pigeons. When we were in the church, we were still called pigeons. And even when we were in the mosque, we were called pigeons only. Similarly, shouldn't they just be called human beings, regardless of wherever they go?" The mother smiled and simply said, "You and I, and our pigeon friends, have understood this simple truth. That is why we are living here in a highly elevated place peacefully. But these humans are yet to understand this, and hence they live down below, fighting and killing each other." What a profound lesson taught by our feathered friends. Swami says, all faiths have emphasized one common factor. There is only one God, and truth is his form. The discovery of truth is the unique mission of man. Turn your vision inward and search for your true self. Self-inquiry leads to the vision of God. Once you have this vision of God, you will be free from all worries.
I am love. I am love. Pure love.
Vidyasagar of India was a great social reformer known for his work in the fields of education, women empowerment, and equality in society. Here is the story of Vidyasagar as narrated by Swami. Vidyasagar, along with his aged mother, lived in a small village. Even though they were in abject poverty, Vidyasagar was sincere and earnest in his efforts and was known for his simplicity and compassion. He passed the law examination and obtained a good job, which helped them get over their poverty. One day, he told his mother that he wanted to buy some good clothes and jewels for her as he was earning sufficient money. He asked his mother to express her wish. The mother said that she did not need anything at that time and would express her wish at the appropriate time. Being an obedient son, he never forced anything on his mother. As months passed by, his salary increased substantially. One day, he sat by his mother's side and said, "Mother, I have a lot of money with me. I pray you express your wish at least now." The mother said, "Son, I want 3 jewels. As there is no school in our village, children are forced to walk long distances to attend school. Parents are concerned about their safety and spend anxious moments till they return from school. So please construct a small school in our village. This is the first jewel that I desire from you." Accordingly, Vidyasagar got a school constructed. After some time, the mother expressed her second wish. She said, "The villagers are suffering from lack of medical facilities. When children are afflicted with disease, their mothers have to carry them to the city for treatment. So, I want you to construct a small hospital in our village. This is the second jewel I expect from you." Vidyasagar then had a hospital constructed. As days rolled by, Vidyasagar's name and fame spread far and wide. People were all praised for his social activities. After some time, his mother expressed her third wish. She said, "Son, water in all the wells has reduced to a trickle, and villagers are suffering due to lack of drinking water. Please make arrangements for it." As per his mother's wish, Vidyasagar got a few wells dug and made drinking water easily available to the villagers. The mother was overjoyed. She blessed her son, saying, "I wish every mother had a noble son like you, who dedicates his life to the welfare of the society." It was only then that she wore a new sari bought by her son. Now, Sairam Everyone. Does this sound familiar? Baba's mother, Ishwarama, had similar desires, and Swami undertook numerous initiatives in the fields of socio-care, medicare, and educare, as promised to his mother. Swami says, "It is the foremost duty of children to fulfill the wishes of their mother and make her happy. Serve others to the extent possible. If you find your neighbors suffering, give them solace. If thoughts are sacred, they will certainly become reality. Do not think that if you don't have enough money or power. If you resolve to do good deeds, you are bound to succeed. The power of noble thought will give you the necessary strength."
Vaishnava Janato is one of the most popular 15th century Hindu bhajans gifted to us by Saint Narsi Mehta, a devotee par excellence who drank deep the grace of the Lord. This bhajan describes the qualities of the true child of God, a person who feels the pain of others, helps those who are in misery, and never lets self-conceit enter his mind. This song summarizes and epitomizes the teachings of all the moral and ethical codes and was a part of Mahatma Gandhi's daily prayers.
How often do we let other people's temper affect our mood? Do we let a terrible driver or a rude comment ruin our day? The mark of a spiritual aspirant is how quickly we can regain our focus on what is important. One man learned this experience while in the back of a New York City cab. Here's what happened. He was traveling in a taxi on his way to Grand Central Station. All of a sudden, without warning, a black car jumped out of a parking space right in front of them. The taxi driver slammed on his brakes, skidded, and missed the other car's back end by inches. Then, the driver in the other car, who nearly caused a huge accident, whipped his head around and started abusing the taxi driver. But the taxi driver just smiled and waved at the guy. The startled passenger said, "Why did you take it so easy? The guy almost caused your car to crash and send us to the hospital." The taxi driver laughed and then related what he called the law of the garbage truck. Many people are like garbage trucks. They run around full of rubbish, filled with frustration, bursting with anger, and packed with disappointment. As their garbage piles up, they need a place to dump it. And if you let them, they'll dump it on you. When someone wants to dump it all on you, don't take it personally. You just smile, wave, wish them well, and move on. You'll be glad you did, I assure you. The passenger started thinking how regularly he let garbage trucks run right over him, and how frequently he took his own garbage and spread it onto other people, at work, at home, or on the streets. It was that day he promised to himself, "I am not going to do it anymore." Over time, he learned how to distinguish when a garbage truck was coming to dump all over him. He noticed the junk they were carrying and prepared himself to avoid it all being unloaded onto him. Like the taxi driver, he did not make it a personal thing. He just smiled, waved, wished them well, and moved on. In his own inimitable way, Bhagwan also tells us, always be saturated with love. To do so, you must develop forbearance, which is serene patience and self-restraint under all circumstances. It means sharing goodness with all, even to those who may want to harm you. Do not use harsh words against anyone, for words wound more fatally than arrows. Speak softly and sweetly. Sympathize with the suffering with unshaken faith, and only then will you be able to attain the Lord.
Heal the World is a song from Michael Jackson's album, Dangerous. In a chat with fans, Jackson said this is the song he was most proud to have created. He also created the Heal the World Foundation, a charitable organization which was designed to improve the lives of children and to teach them how to help others.
Think about a generation and to say we want to make it a better world for our children and our children's children, so that they know it's a better world for them, and they think if they can make it a better place.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place can be brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, there's no hurt or living, make a better place for you and for me.
If you want to know why, there's a love that cannot lie, and a strong, only cares for joyful giving. We try, we shall see, in this bliss we cannot feel. We're off tracks, stop existing and start living. And it feels like always, love's enough, always growing. Make a better world, make a better world.
Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. And the dream we were conceived in, where we with a joyful face, and the world we once believed in will shine again in grace. Then why do we keep shining light on the surface of my soul? It was plain to see this world is heavenly. Be God's glow.
Fly so high, let our spirits never die. My heart, I know you are all my brothers. In the world, no fear. Together we cry happy tears. Together, just turn their swords into plowshares. We can really get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space to make a better place.
Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. 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 You and for me.
The world we live in, save it for our children.
There once was a king who offered a prize to the artist who would paint the best picture of peace. Many artists tried. The king looked at all the pictures, but there were only two he really liked, and he had to choose between them. One picture was of a calm lake. The lake was a perfect mirror. The peaceful towering mountains were all around it. Overhead was a blue sky with fluffy white clouds. All who saw this picture thought that it was a perfect picture of peace. The other picture had mountains too, but these were rugged and bare. Above was an angry sky from which rain fell and in which lightning played. Down the side of the mountain tumbled a foaming waterfall. This did not look peaceful at all. But when the king looked, he saw behind the waterfall a tiny bush growing in a crack in the rock. In the bush, a mother bird had built her nest. There, in that midst of a rush of an angry water, sat the mother bird on her nest. Which picture do you think won the prize? The king chose the second picture and also explained the reason. Peace does not need to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. Peace is being in the midst of all those things and still being calm. happiness without inner peace. To earn that peace and to be unshakably established in it, one must develop full detachment through the steady practice. From birth to death, one is a slave to habits and practices. One needs to examine these and rely more on those that lead to subjective joy rather than objective pleasure. Subjective joy can be acquired by harmony at home, mutual cooperation among members of the family, acts of service to others, and a concern for the welfare and prosperity of the society.
Maitri Bhajata is a Sanskrit song that appeals for friendship, non-violence, and tolerance to live and let live, requesting everyone to forsake unhealthy competition and showering blessings of prosperity for the whole of mankind. It was rendered by renowned vocalist M.S. Subbulakshmi at the United Nations in 1966 on the occasion of the UN Day for World Peace. The rendering of this song and the meaning was such that the delegates were very moved and started weeping profusely at the profundity of the song and the voice. M.S. Subbulakshmi also sang this in front of Swami in the Spirit of Unity concert.
Taken together, these values embody what we truly are: love. Love in thoughts is truth. Love in feelings is peace. Love in action is right conduct. And love and understanding is non-violence. It is love that flows as the undercurrent for the other values. and love is best expressed as service to society. In 1995, when the water project was in full swing, Swami was giving his undivided attention to it. Once in the interview room, Swami began to explain the difficulties in pumping water over the hills, laying pipes, and constructing summer storage tanks. He even talked about the cost involved in the project. He said, "I have already hypothecated Vrindavan to get the amount to complete the water project. I'm ready to sell everything to complete this project." And then he said something that stunned everyone present there. He said, "I'm ready to sell even myself." Everyone present there were shocked and could not believe what they had just heard. Swami then asked, "Do you know what my price is?" With a twinkle in his eyes and a little smile, he said, "I will sell myself for a tiny bit of pure love, for that is the only thing that can buy me."
More service, more of you in my life. More love, more service, more of you in my life. And I will worship you with all of my heart. And I will worship you with all of my mind. And I will worship you with all of my soul. For you are my Lord. For you are my Lord. For you are my Lord, for you are my Lord. More love, more service, more of you in my life. More love, more service, more of you in my life. And I will sing your praise with all of my heart. And I will sing your praise with all of my mind. And I will sing your praise with all of my soul. For you are my Lord, for you are my Lord, for you are my Lord, for you are my Lord. More love, more service, more of you in my life. More love, more service, more of you in my life. And I will worship you with all of my heart. And I will worship you with all of my mind. And I will worship you with all of my soul. For you are my Lord. 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 More love, more service, more of you in my life. More love, more service, more of you in my life. And I will sing your praise with all of my heart. And I will sing your praise with all of my mind. And I will sing your praise with all of my soul. For you are my Lord. 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 For you are my Lord.
The miracle of human life is God's greatest gift to us. It will reach its fulfillment only when the divinity within unfolds as values expressed through service. Dear Swami, thank you for this opportunity. We seek your grace and guidance to lead our lives as your message and make it a worthy offering to you. Jai Sairam.
Thank you, young adults, for that beautiful program. Many of us, yes, another round of applause, please, for that. Many of us have seen firsthand how hard they worked, commuting long distances on weeknights, weekends, coming together for these practices. Thank you for reminding us of this most important message from Swami of human values, of him urging us to live these values and practice them. Moving on to the next segment of this morning, it's a much awaited segment. We have our guest of honor, Dr. Val Jeevanandam, who has traveled from Chicago to be with us here today. A brief introduction of Dr. Jeevanandam. He's a professor of surgery and chief of the Cardiac and Thoracic Surgery Department at the University of Chicago School of Medicine. He came to the US for his high school and obtained all his higher education here. He went to the Columbia University for his college and also medical school. He's a world-renowned surgeon who specializes in the surgical management of heart failure and is an expert in high-risk cardiac surgery. He has performed more than 1,000 heart transplants, including that of a total artificial heart. And he's performed countless cardiac surgical procedures of great technical complexities. Dr. Jeevanandam has a special interest in treating patients who are traditionally considered to be inoperable. He has repaired damaged hearts in several patients awaiting transplant, enabling those patients to be cured without transplantation. He has also successfully performed transplants in patients who are not fit by the standard criteria for a transplant. Additionally, Dr. Jeevanandam has received national attention for his skill in performing bloodless cardiac surgery, which requires the use of precise surgical techniques to minimize blood loss during the procedure. This spares the need for blood transfusion. He's a pioneer in the field of mechanical circulatory assist devices. In October 2000, Dr. Jeevanandam was the first surgeon in the world to successfully implant the CardioVAD. It is a revolutionary permanent circulatory assist device that boosts the heart's function in patients with severe heart failure who are not candidates for heart transplant. Swami has played an incredible part in transforming his life professionally, personally, and spiritually. His journey to Sai is rather incredible, which we hope, brother, you will be touching upon in your talk. As you will quickly see, for all his accomplishments, a few of only which I have listed so far, Brother Val is very down to earth. In fact, this morning when I went up to him to introduce myself as the MC, he said, please keep it really short. While he had heard of Swami in his early years, his turning point in his journey to Swami was in the year 1990. He has had the good fortune since then of having several interactions with Swami, where he obtained direct divine guidance to do his work. Swami has given him the honor and the privilege to serve at the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Medical Sciences for the last 23 years. An interesting anecdote that I remember from his talk when he visited the Minneapolis Sai Center about now 10 years ago is that Swami, while referring to Brother Val, said, he is a cardiac surgeon that transplants hearts, but I'm the only one that transforms hearts. Let us now invite Brother Val to tell us his story. The story of a heart surgeon and how a heart surgeon's heart was transformed by our beloved Bhagavan. Welcome, Brother Val.
So since we're here in Silicon Valley, let's see if technology actually works. Sairam, brothers, sisters, elder. I'm going to give my pranams at Swami's lotus feet. And we'll hope with Swami's grace that technology works. This has been switched to HDMI input. Okay. Got it? Okay, great. So I can't see the screen, so I have to make sure that it's on. But now that it's on, I have my monitor. So Sairam Everyone. It's been a great honor to be invited to come and talk in Region 7. I must give special thanks to Prema, who arranged everything, and I probably wasn't the easiest person to have this arranged because she initially invited me and they were going to have a cardiovascular symposium in Patti, so I humbly declined the invitation. And then, when Swami decides to have something happen, it does. And for some reason, the symposium got canceled, and so I actually had this weekend free, and so I was able to come here. So, with Swami's grace, I'm here. I'll share some of the experiences I've had with Swami and how Swami's actually completely transformed my life. I think we are so blessed that we have been here at the time that Swami's been on earth. If you think of how many millennia the human civilization has existed, it's a very, very short time when God's actually been on earth. And not only did we spend that time with Swami on earth, but we knew that he was God on earth. Because there are billions of people who also were here when he was on earth who didn't know. So we are all, kind of special in that Swami allowed us to know that he was here on earth and we became Swami devotees. It's you can talk to a lot of. Is this too loud? I'm getting like a real echo in my ear. But is it too loud out there, or it's good? It's good? Okay. I guess Swami's just telling me that I'm too loud. You'll see in one of the videos he says, don't talk too much. Maybe he's telling me to do that too. You talk to a lot of the devotees and they say, well, I've known Swami for 40 years and Swami fed me and I was sitting on his lap. And, of course, that little jealousy that Swami says you should never have kind of comes in and goes, boy, I must have had a great experience. But, I look at myself and I've known Swami now for over 20 years and it's been a fantastic time. And, Swami knows how much attention to give somebody. I think he realized that I was a big, big work in progress, so I needed a lot of work. So he gave me a lot of attention in the beginning. And if he didn't give me that attention, there's no way I would have been able to be transformed. be who I am. And then over a period of time, he cut back the attention, and after 2006, we really didn't really have an interview with Swami other than some small interactions. But that's when I actually grew much more spiritually as a person. So how did my journey to Swami start? It's very interesting. It's probably started very, very early in 1975, although I didn't even know that the journey was starting in 1975. We had visited India, and at that time we were only going to India every 5 years, and it's a relatively short period of time. And my aunt said, let's go to Kodaikanal because there's a guru there who you can sit down and ask him questions and he'll give you all the answers. And of course, me being from America, said, okay, first of all, the word guru is probably not, or Swami is not a good word, because we've seen a lot of cults here in the US. And there was no way I was going to spend a whole week of my vacation going and spending some kind of spiritual path. And what a great opportunity I missed, right? Because in 1975, Swami in Kodaikanal, maybe there had been 20 people there, and you could have had really, really personal interaction. But as we say in Tamil, right? Nanda, which means good time has to come, and that wasn't my good time. So my good time probably came in the very, very early 90s, where my parents had moved from New York to Arizona. And it just so happened that the Indian community in Arizona at that time was relatively small, and a lot of them were Sai Baba devotees. So my mom kind of was forced. I mean, my mom is a very religious person, and really kind of my, next to Swami, my divine spirit. And my mom always used to have me do shlokas and wake up in the morning. Sure. Yeah, okay, I can. Maybe that's what I was hearing. I think that mic is on. Okay, let's turn it off.
Yeah, it's off.
Great. So it's actually interesting. I'm much more comfortable walking around anyway, so this is my opportunity to do that. So, they had moved to Arizona, and there was a Sai center there. And my mom started getting into Sai Center, and then every single time I would go to Arizona, she would say, well, let's go to Sai Center. And that's the last thing I wanted to do. I was just finishing my all of my education, right? It's like 20 years of education from, finishing up your residency, your CT residency. I just want to be done with it and go enjoy life. And then she says, come on, let's go to Sai Center. So of course I resisted. And as we do with parents, right, we rebel a little bit. So she would say, okay, Sai Center's at 3 o'clock, let's go to Sai Center on Sunday. So my ticket to Philadelphia always happened to be a little bit before 3 o'clock, so I wouldn't have to go to Sai Center. And then, but my mom was persistent, and my mom has been my moral compass, and she kept sending me books, and she would ask me, did I read this book? And I would say, there's always excuses, there's tons of excuses, and she would send cassettes, and I would never, and I think the thing that probably changed my life the most was, one day I was going to work, and for some reason the radio in the car wasn't working, and the only cassette in the car was a Sai Sundaram cassette, so I put it in, and when I finished my commute, got out, go to work, it just felt so refreshing, not having to listen to the news and all the depressing things that were going on. This was just really uplifting, and then it got me interested. So Swami hooks people in many, many ways. And my particular way, I guess, was through music, although I'm not a musician. If I sang, Swami would probably run away from the room. So, but I liked the sound, and it was very soothing, and it was uplifting. And so then, when I would go to Arizona, all of a sudden, if the Sai Center was at 3 o'clock, I would take my flight at 6, so I would go to Sai Center. So it was starting to turn. But the one, it's people come to Swami in different ways. Sometimes it's a gradual way, and sometimes it's a very acute and immediate way. And for me, it was one of my trips when I went to Arizona. I had packed my knapsack. At that time, I know the children here probably don't even believe it, but we didn't have iPhones and iPads and internet and all the media, so we actually read books. And so I was in the plane and I opened up my knapsack knowing that my John Grisham thriller was going to be there, but all of a sudden the only book that was there was The Vision of Sai by Rita Bruce. And really rummaged through my luggage again to make sure that I didn't miss something else. And so this was the only book I had, so I said, fine, I'll start reading it and just go to sleep. So I started reading it, and it's one of the few times in my life I didn't go to sleep. And for the full 6-hour flight, I read the book, and I wanted to make a change. And the first change I made is, I said, okay, from now on, I'm going to be a vegetarian. So, I come out of the plane, go home, and you know how it is when son goes home. My mom cooked this enormous meal with about 6 non-vegetarian dishes, and I told her I'm going to be a vegetarian. I thought, she was going to either hit me or she was going to have a stroke. But no, she was happy because she had always wanted us to be vegetarian anyway. And so I became a vegetarian at that point and haven't looked back, and that's when we really started getting into Swami's fold. And from that time on, it's been a great journey. When we talk about transformation, having gone through the healthcare system, going through school, it's a very tough ride. Has always been very materialistic. You want to finish, become an attending, have a lot of money, buy whatever, multiple houses, cars, TVs, boats, whatever. And one of the biggest transformations is that don't crave it anymore, right? I mean, we have money and we're happy with money, but that's not what drives us. And a lot of that is just transformation, with Swami. So I've had many interactions with Swami. Many of them have been verbal. So I've had interviews with Swamis. Sometimes they're just interviews while he was in a wheelchair, some dialogue with Swami. He's never come in one of my dreams, but he has come to dreams with my parents. And the one thing I'll say about Swami's dreams is that just like with Swami, every time he says something, every word that he uttered always meant something. And when you have a dream, that is actually a very powerful, direct message from Swami. And of course, he's also worked in multiple ways, which I look back now on experiences and realize how powerful they were. And it's just really interesting, right? Because when you're at the moment, you probably don't realize it, but when you go back and you analyze what happened, you can see the many things that have been going on. So I started reading much more books about Swami. We had a Sai Center in Philadelphia, and the first time I actually saw Swami was very interesting. So one of the people from Puttaparthi had come, and this was 1992, and he came to the center in Philadelphia, and he was talking about the hospital. Again, I didn't even know such a hospital existed, and he said, this hospital does free surgery, and we do a lot of surgery on poor people in India who need valves. And in 1992, valves in India all had to be imported from the US, and they were very, very difficult to get. And so he said, you're a cardiac surgeon, can you help us with valves? And at that time, I was just a very, very recent attending, right? So you don't have any clout with any of the representatives or anything. So I asked them about valves, and they said, well, doc, each one of those valves is $5,000. How many do you want to buy? I said, not that many. And so I kind of put that aside. I asked my boss whether I could have some time off in that summer to go to India. Sheila was going to go to India, and he said, no, you just started, and you're starting a program, and you're very busy, can't let you go. So I said, fine, I'm not gonna go, maybe go next year, the year after that. So around, Sheila was gonna go in the middle of June, and about the end of May, my boss came into my room, and he said, hey, you've been working really, really hard. Do you wanna take a week or 10 days off and go to India? So I said, fine. And so I started thinking about going to India. And then, it's one of those things, Swami just makes things happen. So about 2 days later, the valve rep who blew me off a couple of months ago came into my office and, hey, Dr. J, can you do me a big favor? I'm like, okay, what am I, favor for a rep for. So he said, they changed the models of the valves. The old models are just perfectly fine, but they changed the models, and we have had a lot of people return the old models, and my garage is half full of valves. And my wife is threatening to divorce me. The valves in my garage for much longer, so can you help me and take the valves off my hands? So I said, fine. And so next day he came in with 2 suitcases full of valves. And then a day later, of course, he was from one company, the other guy from the other company, and my secretary was really good. She let him know that this company was helping me out. So of course, he came in with another suitcase full of valves, and I had 3 suitcases full of valves. And I'm going to India, realizing I've never been to Parthi before, never seen Swami before. These were all very, very abstract concepts. So the first time we landed in Bangalore, in Whitefield, and go to the hotel, and I said, I want to book a taxi to go to Puttaparthi. And the guy looks at me seriously and goes, why? I said, I want to go see Swami. He goes, no one's going to Puttaparthi because Swami's here in Vrindavan. So if you go to Puttaparthi, you're on your own. There's going to be nobody there. So I said, okay, well, I have to. So we went and saw Swami that evening, and I was all the way in the back, and Swami was just a little speck of orange. And a lot of people say, the first time I saw Swami, I got an electrical bolt, I saw the aura, I saw that. I honestly didn't see any of that. I saw Swami, and it was great to see him, having read about all the books, but no special contact there. So the next day, ended up going to Parthi, and even the taxi driver kept saying, are you sure you want to go to Parthi? Because Swami's in Vrindavan, he's not in Parthi. He asked me about 3 times. And he said, you have to pay me now round trip because I don't know if we're ever going to come back. So we went there, and this is the hospital. And it is one of the most beautiful structures in the world, right? It is very, very beautiful pink, it's calm. And at that time, there were no real roads to go there. You would go literally in the desert, go up a little mountain, you come down the valley, and you see this beautiful hospital. And it literally in the middle of nowhere. How anybody was able to build that hospital in 1 year with the transportation systems that don't exist to go there, it's just absolutely only divine. So I went there, and Swami puts the sevadal, and the sevadal are really kind of people to knock your ego down and take you down a notch. And it's also interesting, right? Because they rotate sevadal every month, so you can't get familiar with the sevadal, you can't bribe them or anything because they change. So I go to the hospital and go to the gate, and I said, here I am, a doctor from India, I'm the chief of the transplant program, and I have valves, and they're expecting me. And he said, I don't know who you are, you can't go in. So it took about half an hour to try to convince this guy to go in, and finally somebody else, let me in. I go in, and there's a kind of a Ganesha temple in the front, and the car pulled up. And I didn't know who I was going to meet. I didn't write a letter. This was like a true cold call, right? So I go there, and Dr. Bhatia, who was the head of the blood bank at that time, he comes up, and he goes, yes, my son, you have come to your house. And I'm looking at him and saying, okay, but I don't know who he is. I don't know how you can call this my house. I've never been here before. But that was the beginning of a true great relationship. So, they took the valves, and they asked what I did. I said, I'm a transplant surgeon. And they had, at that time, transplant didn't really exist in India at all. So they were all fascinated by it. And that kind of differentiated me enough to always be called for all their meetings and symposia, etc. So, we had talked about living the message. And so I put a couple of messages that Swami has given me, or he's shown me, or he's forced into me that I thought I'd share. And one is losing the ego. So if you go to that hospital, right, you may go in and think you're an accomplished surgeon, great surgeon, etc. You go to that hospital and you realize how much love and compassion and dedication there is from everybody else in that hospital. right? That is one of the most humbling experiences ever, because they have kind of subjugated their ego, and you go there and you realize that you're just a very, very small speck in the sand, right? So they have some surgeons there. They have an incredible staff. The original staff from 1990 were people who graduated from college, and Swami, during their graduation, just came down and he said, you're going to be a perfusionist, you're going to be an x-ray technician, you're going to be a nurse. And these were people who were MBAs and who were, English majors who had no idea that anything to do with the hospital. But they all went to Delhi and got trained. And I will tell you, there is incredible intelligence, and when Swami picks somebody, he picks somebody for a reason, because these people are really very creative and innovative, and they're fantastic. And again, at that time, there were some young surgeons, and we would just actually go there and operate. Now, of course, over the last 20 years, they have been trained, and they have 4 surgeons there that have been very senior, that the people there have trained, and they're actually great and keep the program going. And now we only go there to do either some teaching or some really advanced cases. But at that time, in 1990, we had to go and operate. And so usually you go in with the team and you operate and then you leave. So I went, and I'm going to show you how Swami knocks down your ego. So I went there, and I got with my team, and I know you're not supposed to be competitive or jealous or compare yourself. Those are all bad qualities. But you go there and you're waiting on darshan line, and someone says, "Oh, who are you?" I said, "I'm Dr. I'm coming, operating." He goes, "Great, Dr. Venugopal was here last week, and he did 40 cases. How many cases are you going to do?" So of course you have to say, "I got to do more than 40 cases, right?" You have to do more than the person who was just there. So we're there working very hard, trying to get cases done. And then it was a Thursday, I remember, and we were doing a case, and the sister came in and says, "Okay, we're going to cancel all the other cases today because Swami's giving a discourse, and we want to all hear Swami's discourse." And so I'm thinking to myself, well, if we cancel the rest of the cases, then we're not going to be able to make our 41 number, so we have to do the cases. And I said, no, we have to do the cases. And she said, no, we all want to go hear Swami's discourse. And I said, I tell you what, we won't do any sit down. And Swami used to come and kind of make rounds. He would come and ask you how everything went and what was going on. So Swami came and he looked at me, he goes, "How'd the case go?" I said, "Everything went fine, Swami." He goes, yeah. Double as long, triple as long, very long, right? So that's how he started knocking down my ego. And I will say that from that day on, I almost never, if there's enough people who say don't do something, that's usually a message from God saying don't do it. And so I don't do it, right? So there may be many reasons why you want to do it, but if there's enough messages you listen to, it's not your own ego, right? It's not you, because it's Swami that's actually doing everything. So I think the other message I've learned is really enjoy the present. My closest interactions with Swami occurred probably very early on during these cardiovascular symposia. So Swami had this cardiovascular symposium. I wasn't there for the first one, but after I went there and gave them a talk on heart transplant, they wanted me to come for the second one. And it's interesting, Swami kept it in February. No one could really understand why he kept it in February, but February's happened to work for a lot of the doctors because you don't have many meetings at that time. And so, of course, Swami kept it for a reason. And so February of 1993 was the second cardiovascular symposia, and then I had been invited to it. I originally did not want to go, and I told my mom, and my mother said, "Are you kidding me? Swami invites you and you don't want to go. Okay, you are definitely going to go." So I went. And it was a very interesting meeting because that was the first time I was ever in Puttaparthi, in Prashanti Nilayam. And I didn't know any of the protocols, so you know how Sevadals are usually the hindrance? In this particular instance, they were not, because I was just standing on the regular line thinking, well, it's going to take hours for me to go in, but I had my lanyard, and one of the Sevadal came by and said, who are you? Are you a doctor? I said, yes. I said, okay, well, you go to the front. So I went to the front of the veranda, sat there, and Swami came by, and he just motioned like this, and all the doctors got up and went inside, and I had no idea what this meant. So I just sat there. And then Swami looked at me, and he did this again, and then one of the students came on and said, hey, Swami's telling you to come in. So we went into the interview room. So that interview room is one of the most magnificent rooms in the world, right? It's about 8 by 8, very small, but it can contract to allow one person in, and it can expand to allow like 500 people, right? It's amazing. So there we were with all the doctors of this symposia, and this is what humbles you so much about Swami, right? I mean, people in the Western world may not know who Swami is, but when he put a symposium together, he had the cardiac surgeons that all wrote the books. He had Donald Ross, who did the first valve replacement. He had other people who literally were the authors of all the books that we were reading. So I'm there in awe with all these people. They're sitting in front of Swami. And Swami goes and would ask each person what they did, and he would tell them what they did sometimes, or he would ask them sometimes. And Swami, he was divine, right? Swami is omnipotent, he's omnipotent. But he wouldn't like blast you with it, he would just sprinkle it on you so you could handle it, right? So he would ask, like, these are all cardiac surgeons. You think they would know all the answers, or at least the questions he was asking. He would ask things like, what was Gibbon thinking when he invented the heart-lung machine? And you have no idea, right? Because these were things that only Swami would know. And he was telling them about all the different problems that Gibbons would have when he was trying to do the heart-lung machine and how he overcame all those. So it was kind of Swami's way of saying, you guys are okay, but I'm above here someplace. So he did that, and then he went around and he would actually say, this is Dr. Ross, and he's a great surgeon. And we went to every single person. He would say, he's a great surgeon because he does this. And I was all the way in the back, and he asked me who I was, and then he told everybody, he goes, oh, he's a good surgeon. He's a good doctor. And so I'm thinking, all those people are great. I'm the only one he called good. So I have a long, long way to go. And I understood it. I said, boy, maybe next time when I come here, maybe he'll consider me great as well. So I realized I had a lot of work to do. And so the symposium was really fantastic, and that's why I say we enjoy the present. And the reason is because we had the first symposia, that was my second, and then we had a third symposia, and then we're just anticipating, okay, Swami, this symposia are growing, we have a lot of people, I want you to build an auditorium, this is going to be a yearly event. That was it. After the second one, we never had another event till 2010. That was at 2010 we had an event. So, instead of going what we had then, we were always anticipating for the future. It's probably one of the true lessons that we all have to learn, right? Is enjoy what you have now. You have kids grow up. You may not have that same experience with the children 10 years from now as you're going to have now, so enjoy what you have now. So anyway, these symposia was great because Swami would actually come and he would serve food. So we would all be sitting there at lunch, and he would come. Of course, Swami always served the alva, right? He always liked to serve me the best food. And the third symposium was very interesting. He would serve. Swami was also very, very particular about time. He wanted everybody to be punctual, but when Swami would serve, everybody would stand up and slow things down. So he told everybody, go sit down, I will serve. And he started serving, people stood up, he said, one more time, sit down, I will serve. He started serving, people stood up, he just put the ladle down and he left. And he just never came back to service again. And again, that was one of my big lessons, right? When the divine says something, you better listen to him. And whether you have a sign, a signal, whatever, those are very, very powerful messages. Anyway, during the third symposium, Swami always gave the final talk of the symposium. And it's kind of sad for me to say, I'm a little embarrassed that Swami, at those times, those things would start about 3 o'clock, and you don't really get over jet lag. So at 3 o'clock, and Buddha birthday is about 3 o'clock in the morning, so the nadir of you're sleeping, essentially. And so it's kind of nodding off during Swami's talk. The person next to me is saying, Swami's looking at you, wake up. Kind of nodding on and off. And then all of a sudden, Swami starts talking about doctors. He says, doctors are book learned, they know great surgical techniques, and they're great people, they're great scholars, they're great surgeons. And then he stopped and he said, but Swami doesn't like great surgeons, he only likes good surgeons. And so I woke up, like, whoa, what are you talking about? And then he went on to describe what a good doctor is, right? He says a good doctor is somebody who cares about the patient, who's patient with the patient, who listens to the patient, because a lot of medicine is not necessarily how great you can do surgery, but you have to talk to the patient. A lot of curing a patient is about talking to them. And so I will say that about one thing that always resonates in my mind when Swami said he's a good doctor. And even to this day, I may have clinic, and you have 5 people in clinic, and you have an operating room that's running, and you're very busy, people are calling you, and you go in, and you want to see a patient for 30 seconds and get out, and you hear Swami saying, oh, he's a good doctor. I said, okay, I have to sit down with the patient, listen to the patient, concentrate on the patient, and go. And I think that is an amazing message, right? I mean, it's like even these talks that you have asked me to give, I may tell you a lot of words, and maybe there's only one word that sticks out. And the one word that's always stuck out with Swami and me is, he's a good doctor. But Swami will say something like that, and then you have to attain it. So that's the hard work. Just him saying it is one thing, but us having to attain that is much more difficult. So we didn't have another cardiovascular symposium for almost 20 years, right? The last one was in 1994, I think. And in 2010, they called me from Puttaparthi and they said, we're having another cardiovascular symposium in 2010, can you attend? And so I attended, and Swami gave us a lot of his love at that time. And of course, us not learning our lessons, we all said, oh great, maybe Swami wants to start these cardiovascular symposia again. So I'm asking him about, what's cardiovascular symposia 2011 and 2012, and et cetera, et cetera. And as you know, left this world, about 5 months after that cardiovascular symposia. And that was kind of the last few times we had to spend time with Swami. And it was almost like he decided that we'll have one more symposia, get everybody together, because that's the last one you're going to have with me. So again, it's very, very important that we really learn to grasp the moment and enjoy the moment, because I could have been asking him a lot of things, but I'm asking him about the next year's symposia, which obviously never came to fruition. So, in one of my interviews with Swami, as a young surgeon, we do a lot of cases, and many of them go well, but some of them don't go well. And so I talked to Swami about that, and I said, Swami, some patients die. And he looked at me, and he said, death is my gift to you, right? You do not determine whether somebody dies or not, or you don't determine the consequences. You just have to do the work the best way you do it, and then Swami will take care of. He's always said Swami will take care of. And so that's actually a very powerful message, right? He said Swami will take care of it. You are just an instrument. You are all my instruments, right? So that's actually very powerful in many realms. One thing is you are all his instruments, right? So that means whether you're any place in the spectrum, we are all God's children, and we all should be respected as God's children. So whether somebody is janitor or somebody is the head of the hospital. You know, in Swami's eyes, they were all the same. You know, Swami would give interviews, obviously, for prominent people, but he, you could see it in his face when you're close by. He didn't really enjoy doing it. He did it because it was a position that he had to give an interview for. He was much more happy with normal people. And so we were all his instruments. And I think that is a very, very powerful message and teaches us about respecting other people and respecting their needs and working with them. I think the other thing that Swami said is about death, right? So, you know, we're here many, many lifetimes to go, and we die and we're reborn. And, you know, he's basically saying that you don't know what your karma was from the last, 100 times that you were born and reborn, but he does. And so that's his responsibility. So by him saying that for me, has really given me the confidence to do many of the things that normally no one else would do, right? Because I will work as hard as I can, and maybe you're doing an operation for 10 hours or whatever. But the ultimate consequence and the ultimate result is his doing. And if you put that into his hands, it allows you to do difficult cases because you know that he will take care of it. It may not always be a positive result, it may be a negative result, but there's a reason for it, and that reason is his. And I think just by putting it in his hands, it teaches me a lot about our actions. I mean, you may do something that you think is magnificent and no one appreciates it, but you know what? If you think it's right, Swami will appreciate it. And that's the only person who really, really counts. Sometimes you do a great operation, you think the patient will be appreciative, and they complain about the fact that their room smells. And you say, are you kidding me? We just spent 8 hours doing this great operation no one else wants to do, and you're complaining about your room, right? But you think about it, it doesn't matter, because the person's alive, he's happy, and if that's how, that's probably Swami's way of knocking down your ego. Because if you went in here and the guy just lushed praise on you, your head get bloated, right? So instead of that, Swami says, I'm going to take care of that head bloating. I'm going to knock it down right now. So there's many, many times when I would say that, I felt like an instrument. And the more I feel like just an instrument, I think I could do a better job and leave the consequences in Swami's hands. So I'll give you another example. There was a person in Philadelphia when I was there, Mr. Gauri Shankar, and he had a problem with his heart. He had an aortic valve that was pretty stenotic, which means that one of the valves that allows blood to go out of the heart was not opening properly. And the physicians in the US had said, oh my God, you need to have surgery. We won't even discharge you out of the hospital till you have surgery. And he was a devout Swami devotee, so he said, nope. I won't have surgery till my Swami says okay. And so he would give his mother-in-law, who was living in Puttaparthi, a call, and she would ask Swami, and Swami said, no, wait. And so he had a list of multiple admissions and discharges with AMA, that's against medical advice, written in his chart. And then he went to Puttaparthi, and he asked Swami, and Swami said, wait. Right, so of course now he doesn't know what wait meaning W-A-I-T or W. My wife was talking to Malati, who was the head of our Sai Center, and she said, oh, you should have him go see Dr. Gajanana. Dr. Gajanana is a cardiac surgeon, maybe he can help. So they come to my office, and I look at him, and I said, yeah, he probably doesn't need to have surgery. And she says, we will not have surgery until Swami says okay. And I said, okay, that's perfectly fine. You go ask Swami, and if he wants to have surgery, you can have surgery. And they both just nearly, started crying because they said, well, no one has responded that way before. Usually they say, no, you have to have surgery, you're going to die. You're the first person that said, fine, you go ask Swami. So they did ask Swami, and Swami said, yes, let Jivananam do your heart surgery. And so we did his heart surgery, and he said, Dr. Jivananam, I have a couple of requests. My number one request is that you put Swami's vibhuti on my tongue just as before we do surgery. So I'm thinking to myself, he's going to be asleep, and I'm going to take some white powder and put it on his tongue in the United States and not have anybody say something. But, remarkably, so I'm thinking to myself, should I do this or not? So I said, Swami, if you want me to do it, I'm going to do it. You pay the consequences. And remarkably, everybody's watching me do it, and not one person said anything. So we did that, and then I'm always got a little monkey mind, right? So you always want more and more confirmation. So I'm talking, I always think on Swami and says, Swami, give me one more sign that this case is going to go well. All right, give me one more sign. And of course, that sign wasn't coming, so I went and I started scrubbing. So when we scrub, it's about 3 minutes. There's a clock, and that's my Swami time. So I pray to Swami to make sure that everything goes well, that what he wants as a consequence is what occurs. And so I'm doing that for about 2 minutes, and all of a sudden I get disturbed because the head of neurosurgery comes to me and he says, hey, Val, I got something for you. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, he broke my concentration. This is not going to be a good omen. And so I said, okay, Raj, what's up? So he said about a year ago, one of his friends came from India, and he came and he gave him a picture. And he put the picture on his desk, and he meant to give it to me because he knew that I was a Swami devotee. And he said, I just didn't have time. It was just on my desk. And then this morning I woke up, and somehow the window must have been open because everything on my desk flew out, and the only thing that was on my desk was this card. And so I'm going to give it to you. And so that was Swami's card. So that's kind of Swami's way of saying that I should be doing this case, and you can open it up and it says, may the divine grace and blessings be ever with you in all your noble deeds. So needless to say, Swami answered our prayers, and the case went very well. There's a little humorous twist to all this, because I came in the morning and I was seeing how the patient was doing, and the poor guy was in 4-point shackles, right? I mean, he has been tied down to the bed. And I asked the nurse, hey, what's going on? Why is he tied down to the bed? He said, Dr. J, he's hallucinating. I said, what do you mean he's hallucinating? Well, we walked in at 2 o'clock in the morning, and his breathing tube was out. And, obviously, he was being a bad patient, and he pulled the tube out, and that's why we have him tied down. And I asked him, I said, did you ask him what happened? He goes, oh yeah, that's why we think he's hallucinating. We went in, he said, some dude in an orange robe came and, just took the tube out. And so that's why we gave him the Haldol, because we think he must be crazy. So I told him he's not crazy, and we got him unshackled. Because he had the tube in place, and he thought it was very, very uncomfortable, so he started praying to Swami to come and fix the uncomfortableness of the tube. So Swami came and extubated him. And for everybody else it was crazy, but he actually has done very, very well. So I've had several patients who Swami has particularly kind of blessed, and we've operated on, and whether they've been difficult or not, or special people, they've done very, very well. So it's really been an amazing, humbling experience, because when Swami actually shows his love, and the devotees show their incredible love and trust in Swami, then of course, we're really nothing but his instrument. So I've had many, many experiences, and I was telling Prema, I have spoken at sites where I've spoken for 45 minutes, and I've spoken at retreats where I speak for 8 hours. So we'll do this for about an hour. So I'm going to talk to you about this. This is actually really interesting, right? So until about 2006, Swami used to give personal interviews to a lot of people. And that means that, you would go into that room. That was that 8x8 room, and then there would be even a smaller room next to it where he would take people in and talk to them. And usually it happened during darshan. So he would come out and give darshan, and then he would select out a group of people to go in, and then they would go in, then he would come out, select out another group, and they would go in. And these were really, really special moments because you could sit down and you could spend time with Swami. Otherwise, you would see Swami just on the dais, and Swami would kind of have a stern face, not really be joyful as much. But in the interview, he actually is your father, and he's your mother, and he's your best friend, and it's it's amazing. And he would make jokes of me all the time. He would always call me Coconut Tree because I was much taller than he was, and he would call me his coconut tree surgeon, and almost every time he would make that joke. And so the interviews were kind of a special thing. Again, it was one of those stressful moments because whenever you went there to work, everybody was saying, "Has Swami given an interview yet?" It's almost like if Swami didn't give you an interview, it was something that I had done and we had done wrong. So there was always this stress about Swami giving an interview, and Swami knew that. And so for me at least, he would never really give an interview until the very, very last day. And sometimes even in the last moment, he would give an interview, and then he would always smile, and he said, "I know you're anxious, and but Swami will never disappoint you." So in 2005, we had a very difficult case. It was a very interesting case. That's one thing about Buddha Birthday, right? I've become a much better surgeon because I've operated Buddha Birthday. I might have given one step towards them, but they've taken 100 steps towards me because there are cases there that you never see in the Western. It is so advanced, you never see them here. So we had a very interesting case, and I had my video camera with me. And the case was over a little bit early, and we ended up going to darshan. Usually we never made evening darshan, but this day we're there. Swami was a little bit delayed, more than usual. I had my camera, I was just sitting down, and Swami had never called me in on a midday. This was like a Thursday or a Wednesday, I couldn't remember. He had never called me on a midday. So I was comfortably just reading my book, thinking I'll just see Swami, and all of a sudden he points to me to come in. And I actually asked him, "Swami, you want me?" He says, "Yes, yes." So I had my camera, didn't know what to do with the camera, so I turned to the person I was sitting next to. I said, "Hey, can you just hold this camera?" He said, "No. You got to take this camera, it's too expensive." So I had the camera in my hand, I go there, and Swami doesn't do anything without a reason. And I think he wanted me to actually take the video, although I didn't know I had the video, because this was a very interesting interview. This interview was really something that people could relate to. He talked about diabetes, he talked about food. So we had a discourse on food from Swami for 45 minutes. And it's kind of incredible, right? Because you think there's so many other things to talk about with God other than food, how many chapatis you're eating, or how to make your idlis, or what food is good for you. But he's the director, and this was a play, and he set it all up. So we had a mother there and I had a recently diagnosed diabetic son, so she's asking all these questions, he's answering the questions, he uses her kind of like a comic relief, and so we have a great dialogue. And I did end up videotaping it. And I have been able to share it with people. We'll see how the video works. I can't even guarantee the video works. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it's just kind of like Swami's will on who's going to see it and who's not. And the fact that you do have an opportunity to see the video is really kind of cool. Not too many people have seen Swami inside and away from the crowd. And he actually is, he's fun. He was actually a lot of fun. He would make, very important points. So I go in, and I don't know whether I should ask, right? So I'm debating in my head. Do you ask him whether you can take the video? Because if he says no, and he can't take the video, I really want to take the video. So I'm doing all this debates in my head, and I'm really afraid to ask him. So I started taking the video in the back, and so I did not ask him whether I could take it, or thinking about whether I should take it or not. I have the camera in my hand, And Swami just looks directly in the camera. I'll replay it again. So take a look at this. He will look directly in the camera and he'll say, take it, and then he'll give a good smile, right? So this is probably one of the lessons I've learned from Swami. He knows what you're thinking, okay? He doesn't only know what you are doing, he knows what you are thinking. And that's extremely powerful, because when you're any place and you have a bad thought, you better realize that that bad thought is going directly to Swami, so he knows what you're thinking. And if you run your life that way, you know very easily that you shouldn't have those bad thoughts, because Swami's going to have them. And he's going to know that you have them, right? So I was just thinking in my mind whether I should ask him, and he says, take it, and you'll hear it again when you run it. And so just before that, if you notice, he says, yes, yes, it's coming, right? So one of the people had asked about a grandchild. He just got not a grandchild, a child, because he just got married. It was one of the students. And so Swami said, yes, 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 it's coming. Then he'll turn around and say, take it. So after that, then I was bolder. I said, great, I'll be able to take it. And then, of course, what did I think? Well, the next interview, I'll come up with even a better camera, we'll have better sound, and we'll take it again. Never happened again, right? So again, it's always the monkey mind thinking, what will happen next time? And unfortunately, the next time never happened. But it was interesting because, I took the video, and then I was starting to think to myself, boy, here I am with the video. I could sit in front of God, but I'm sitting in front of a camera looking at God through the camera. So what does Swami do? He actually motions to one of the students to go and take the video camera from my hand, and he had me come and sit right next to him. So again, he was seeing what I had. So a couple of life lessons that Swami's done. Now this was a long interview, and I've really taken some excerpts from it. And probably I need to go back and edit it again. So it's, that's an interesting lesson as well. So I took the video, and after I took the video, I was again thinking, boy, I missed an opportunity to spend more time with Swami. So I go down, and somebody said, hey, did you take the video at that interview? And I said, yes. He goes, wow, you did a fantastic service for everybody else in that room, because they now have that video on tape. Right? So I'm thinking to myself, my God, I wasn't even thinking about everybody else. I was only thinking about myself. But maybe it is a good thing that I did it for everybody else. Right? And so we made digital copies for everybody and gave it to everybody. Now, why am I saying that? Because guess what happened to my original copy? I can't find it. It's gone. And so the only copies I have are these clips. And it was only last time when I had the party, one of the people who was actually in the interview came up to me and he goes, I meant to tell you this, but many years ago, you actually took a video of the interview and you gave it to me, and it's been one of my treasured possessions. And I said, great, can you give me a copy? So, whatever you do, it's karmic, right? It always comes around to help you as well. So, as I said, there was a lady there, and she's kind of the comic relief. So she kept talking and talking and talking, and Swami at one point just gets frustrated with her, and in a very, very nice way, as Swami always is, he'll just talk less. And it's probably a great lesson for everybody here. Now look at the smile. He knew that message was for everybody in this room, right? And he'll just turn around and give a very, very mischievous smile. So and it was good because I don't think anybody else would have had the courage to ask Swami about everything that she asked for, right? And so that actually makes it a very, very nice interview. So, she asked, what is the root cause of disease? And Swami said the root cause of disease, whether it's coronary disease or stomach problems, is hurry, worry, and curry. And he'll say that the mind is important, food is not important. and you'll hear that now. Thinking also very bad. Mentally. Worry, hurry, curry. For diabetes and heart problems. Now watch, he gets animated. Worry, hurry, curry. So, a couple of the simple things for us to run our lives by, right? I mean, worrying is just mental anxiety, putting on different things because you don't trust Swami. Swami will take care of things. He'll give you challenges. They'll be difficult, but he'll take care of them. And then hurry is you're always late, you're rushed, you want to do something, you want to do something more, you have desires. And then, of course, curry is the food. So she keeps asking about all the different foods, and Swami actually gets frustrated, and he'll say, listen to what I eat. So he'll be on the video, he'll say, I've been like this for 60, he goes, I'm 78, and for 60 years, I've been 108 pounds. And then he'll say what he eats, and he eats ragi malt, I guess it's like the millet, barley. And he say, I eat it now, I eat it tomorrow, I eat it after tomorrow. And he says, I'll be very happy with this ragi malt. And then he'll say, food is not important, the head is important. And I think he truly lived his message. How many years? 78. Food control. For 60 years. 108 pounds. Even now 108. That is good. Diet control. Sagdi. For 60 years. Next also. Food not important. Head is important. So just remember that, right? Food is not important, head is important. So this is very close to probably one of Swami's materializations. So one of the people who was sitting there was an intensivist, and Swami had many years ago materialized the emerald ring. And he had said that he refused to take it off. So he had it on, and after many years, it had worn off the gold in the back. And so it was open in the back and had a crack in the emerald. And he had so he had asked Swami to repair it several times, and Swami had told him, repair it there. And he only wanted Swami to repair it. So he's asked him this over and over again. And of course, it's only now that we are taking a video that Swami actually goes ahead and takes care of this. So what you will see here is that he will get the ring. Swami will say, why didn't you fix it there? Why didn't you fix it there? And he'll say, Swami, I want you to fix it. So he'll take the ring and he shows it to everybody, because he'll show, and you can't see it that closely, but you can see that there's an emerald that had a chip, and then there was the ring that wasn't completely circular, and he'll blow on it 3 times. And of course, in Swami's way, the ring is not perfectly repaired, and he'll put it back on. And then at the end, he'll say, you like. It says, of course you like. So it shows everybody the they're there. Why did you fix it there? comic relief. You like? So that was Swami's special way of giving him his fixed ring, and of course, you could say it was a new ring. It actually wasn't, because when you could look at it, you can't see it here, but there was a chip on the emerald. That chip still existed, but now the ring was completely full as opposed to a half. So it's 12:10. So I'm going to finish up on this real quick. There are other clips from the videos that I can share. There's many more clips actually, but perhaps next time. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up by thinking about. In 2005, we had this interview. I think the last interview I had with Swami was in 2006. And then kind of after 2006, we had kind of wheelchair dialogue, as I would call it. And one could say, oh my God, you've lost contact with Swami after that. And to me personally, that was probably the time that I spiritually grew the most. Because till then, all the focus was on the physical form and seeing Swami and seeing miracles and seeing materialization. But then after that, when he actually makes you reflect and actually makes you spiritually much more aware. So from that time on, that was the last, well, this was the next to the last interview. This is the last one we actually had videotaped. And then, Swami, the life has not been easy, right? Because Swami told us to go to Chicago in 1998, and I think that if Swami said do something, you go there and everything miraculously is perfect and can't be better. But we had our challenges, both professionally and mentally and everything else. But the one thing that about Swami is he's always been there to take those challenges and make them, for us to be able to surmount those challenges. My dad passed away about 10 years ago, and Swami's message to me early on about death being his gift ended up becoming so important to the way we were able to handle my dad's passing, right? Because my dad had Parkinson's disease. And we would go to Swami and we would say, Swami, my dad had Parkinson's disease. He goes, yes, 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 I will take care of it. And he always told me, Mayam, bye brother, don't be afraid. Not count, I'll take care of it. And so when he said that, we thought, okay, Swami, here, just give us the vibhuti and he'll take it and his Parkinson's disease will be all better, right? But obviously for my dad, his karma was that he had to have his Parkinson's disease. But Swami would always take a look at my dad and say, I will take care of you. I will always take care of you. And so we didn't know what that exactly meant, except that, my dad was progressing with this Parkinson's disease, and my dad he always said that his biggest fear was being disabled. And, the day that he got the disability handicap sticker, he was just walking and he just died. I mean, he was just walking, had bilateral cerebral hemorrhage, and he died. And we were talking to the doctors, and he said, "Well, I've never seen anything like this," because he didn't feel a thing. I mean, he just went. Imagine in America dying, never being in an ICU, never being intubated, anything. And so obviously it was a shock to us. But if you look at what Swami said to my dad, he said, "I will take care of you." Well, how beautiful a way did Swami take care of my dad? Because my dad never ever suffered, right? He didn't have any pain. He just went. And so when Swami says he will do something, he will do it, but it's not in the way that you may think that you want it done. This is the divine way. And a lot of the challenges that we've had have also been that way, right? I mean, these are challenges that you'd rather not face, but the divine will take care of it. And I think that's such an important message, that whatever we do in life is that Swami will take care of us. And all our challenges are there just to make us better, both spiritually and mentally, and prepare us for the next lifetime. And Swami's been a great mentor and a guru and God for me and my family. And I think it's just these experiences that have helped transform me to get there. Well, I'd like to thank you all for listening to my discourse, my talk. I know there are just some experiences, and I will say that the number one person who gets the most out of these talks is myself, because it gets me the chance to relive Swami. So I must thank you all for listening to me, because it gets me a chance to relive
that most wonderful and inspiring talk, and sharing your beautiful journey with Swami. You told us how he truly made you his instrument of love and service. One of the important messages that we got from you was the reminder that Swami says we are all his instruments. It is both a privilege and a great responsibility to be his instruments and to be living his message. I invite Sister Prema to please come up and present Brother Val with a token of our love and appreciation from Region 7. Thank you, brother. He has a flight to catch at 2 p.m. and hence has to take off. He has a meeting this evening in LA. So we really appreciate that you were able to come and be with us.
Okay, we just asked if you could show the video, but next time.
Okay, we look forward to it. We're really happy that you were with us today, and we really look forward to you coming back and being with us again soon. Thank you. We now invite you, Brother Val, to please cut the cake, the birthday cake. What is a birthday party without a birthday cake? So, Sister Prema, please also cut the cake with him.
All right, let's sing Happy Birthday to Swami.
Happy birthday, dear Swami. Happy birthday to you. Swami's blessing us now. Swami's blessing us now.
तेरे जन्मदिन में सारे तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तेरे जन्मदिन में सारे तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे। तुझे कोटि प्रणाम करेंगे।
गन्तव्यम् ब्रह्मकर्मसमाधिनः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Oh Lord, you are the food, you are the preparer and enjoyer of the food, you are the receiver of the food, along with the inward and outward breath. You are the digestive fire that digests the four kinds of foods. We offer all that we consume to you in peace. Amen.
Sairam everyone. Just a few announcements before we break for lunch. So we have plenty of time for lunch. It's over an hour, but everyone's requested to please come back and be seated by 1:30. We have a program in the afternoon, so we want to be in time for that. There is area to sit. There's tables at which you can have lunch, but should they be full, you can come into this area to have your lunch. There'll be 3 lines for lunch, one for children and seniors, a second for women, and a third for men. We will be having, this is an important part of the announcement, we will be having special guests joining us this afternoon for our multi-faith program. They're our guests of honor from different faiths. And the request being made by the organizers is that we all maintain discipline and give all of them a very warm welcome into our celebrations this afternoon. The announcement about the SSC Children's Program is that in the afternoon session, all 4 groups of SSC have some activities planned out for them. There are 2 rooms, again, in the adjacent building on that side, and all children are encouraged to go and participate in them. Please stay on and do not miss the wonderful afternoon session of the multi-faith program. And now we may disperse to go and have lunch. And please be back again and be seated by 1:30. Thank you, Sairam.
நமஸ்காரம் பண்ணிக்கிறேன், வீட்டுக்கு போய் கிளம்பிட்டேன். மேடையில் போய் பண்ணலாம் இல்லையா?
Somebody run it?
Picture everything Shiva has. Now they're moving to the stage. Keyboard? So keywords are Sharan. Oh, Sharan.
Satish, good job. Everything.
Hey Vignesh,
Short of battery.
what is why is here?
Which one?
These guys?
What do you mean?
Are you changing the battery?
So these are actually
Lakshman brought some blankets. Okay.
some blankets.
Just talk to Lakshman. He was the one.
Can I get all the blankets? Who's that? I'm going to take all the blankets. Depends on that. I want to know.
Hey Vignesh, see there are 2 bars and everything down.
2 bars. It's a very tricky situation. How much is this guy has? This guy has full power. We can use these batteries.
See, this is full.
Whatever, just put it on charge. You have room there, put it on charge. All the lead singing instruments first check.
Sorry,
Couple of
bring
mics.
all the mics then.
Yeah, all the mics should be here. First bring all the mics.
Bring all the mics.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we have over an hour. We can charge it.
Yeah, we can, exactly.
Vignesh, சாப்பிட்டு பார்க்கலாமா?
சாப்பிட்டு கவனிச்சிடும் சாப்பிட்டு நாங்கள் ஸ்டேஜில் செட்டப் பண்ணோம் சாப்பிட்டுலாம் இப்போ நமக்கு வரணும் இல்லை
வரணுமா?
ஹாப்பி பர்த்டே டு
ரெடி பண்ணுவோம்ல சென்டிங்
அப்படியே பண்ண வேண்டியது என்ன ஹூஸ் இல்லை நம்ம all 2 points, huh? I mean, we go by the priority, like any like tabla, harmonium, 2 bars.
Yeah, this is harmonium.
Yeah, harmonium. Okay, give me harmonium. I'll get you 2 new batteries. Harmonium is ready. This is all 2 batteries. Check 3 bars, then leave it. Harmonium. Harmonium batteries. Go ahead, put it. Yeah, if you have room, you can charge it. These are like rugged ones. These wireless ones. We need these. These make for our kind of handling.
Yeah, full.
Full, all the full one will keep it separate. I have 2 more full. Anything that needs to be charged. Separate is full.
Audio record பண்ணுறீங்களா? இல்லை வீடியோ. ஓ இதுவா? லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமிங் நினைக்கிறேன். ஓ ஸ்ட்ரீமிங். Not mine.
So I have some Duracell batteries.
Streaming
we
came
can
out very
take
well.
a chance.
We were able to watch the.
He's a charger.
I think he's in charge.
Thank you.
Oh no, it's not me.
Very, very well.
It's not me.
No.
It's just somebody else. I'm just adjusting.
Yeah, it
Okay,
came out very
good.
good.
Yeah, I'll tell Sampath.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chopping. Let's go.
So, the next program, oh no, actually they changed it between. But I think the beginning and all is
I hope they will do this.
music.
Music.
What's the plan now?
Battery is charging. Yeah, with some talking in between.
So can we quickly hook up all the mics and do one quick test run?
You want to do that? So basically we don't have enough batteries now. Then we'll use
Okay,
the
let it charge.
Let's finish lunch and then quickly walk into that.
Okay. So yeah, let's quickly finish the lunch. Come back and by the time the instrumentalist will back, right? So then we'll put the instrumentalist in the stage.
Backstage to test? Yeah. Hey, let's just move on the direct
Take this
boxes.
one.
Yeah.
Keep this.
So we move everything to the
This,
stage.
yeah, this one and this one, everything to the stage.
Guitar
The
cable is
direct,
lying
yeah,
down.
yeah. Direct boxes, I try to unplug and replug to the same spot, but we need to test it once and everything is hooked up. Just because the cables are actually come, let's have a quick lunch and then come back. That's what they will take care of, all the instruments. They will take care of. We just need to give more of the instruments. Once the instruments are done, okay, let's have a quick lunch.